All right, this is a how-to video on using Tayasui sketches to create a layered collage drawing image. So try to use Creative Commons or something, a photograph that you have created so that we don't have any copyright issues. You'll want to consider the order of the layers of the photos that you're going to use. So the dog would be the background, then I added the crown, and finally a fancy jacket. On Tayasui sketches, you're going to want to select the bottom layer. So you'll go up on that top right hand side to the layers. You'll see you have to select the bottom. The top layer is always the default. Then we're going to go ahead and add a photo. I've already saved the photos from Creative Commons into my photo library. Make it the size that you want. Make sure it's straight and clear. So you don't want to make it too big. Click the check mark and then it'll save that as your layer. I'm going to move up to my top layer now. So back to layers, selecting that top layer so that I can add in the crown photo. This is a very important step, and if you're having problems erasing the crown and it's erasing your other image, you probably don't have the order of your layers correct. So now we're going to try erasing and see if your layers are correct. Your bottom image will remain, and the top image you can erase from. You can pinch to zoom in on areas, but you can see that I'm kind of struggling with my opacity. The eraser isn't working too well, and that's because my opacity was down. So there's some slide buttons on the side that will help you with either your opacity and your size of the eraser or the pen that you're using. So I continue to erase until the whole background is gone. I usually go in and do kind of the fine area around and then use a larger size eraser to get the back. You'll want to get rid of that top also because it's just a little bit lighter than the actual background. Getting closer to finishing. All right, now we're going to add the jacket. I have to go back to my layers, which I forget to do on this one. So you'll see my mistake and what would happen if you don't use the layers correctly. So here I go, I start erasing. Oh, and I realize I've made a mistake because I'm going to actually erase that crown. It's on the same layer. So I have to undo everything. Back to my image, back to layers. And here I select the gear, which is on the bottom left of the layer. On my top layer, this opens this menu up, and I'm going to select duplicate. This gives me another top layer. So now I actually have 3 layers. On that top third layer, I can go ahead and add the jacket. So I'm going in and erasing everything but the jacket. It definitely needs some work. So I figure it's a good time to do some drawing. So I've selected a pen in a black color, and I'm gonna kind of create my own jacket. This is a technique that's kind of fun, and you could actually do an entire drawing like this with the help of some resource images in the background. This way I can tailor the jacket exactly to the dog. And it's fun to play around with the size, the opacity, the colors, and the different pens when you're drawing. Here I'm going to make the white area just a lot whiter and brighter. Using just a slightly different shade of the white for the bow tie. Adding in a little bit more detail. But then I find that the background is a little bit distracting. So I go back to my first layer by going up to layers and selecting that bottom layer. And I'm gonna erase the entire background around the dog so it's a little less distracting. I'm using a really wide eraser, large in size, and then I change the size down to something finer, and I can go around and try and get all the little details around his head. The better job you do on erasing things and cropping, the more your piece will turn out. Finally, I'm going to go in and I'm going to select the finest pen and do just a little bit of detail before I'm finished. When I'm finished with this, we have to decide, is it something that's going into another piece, or is it something that you're going to be turning in for an assignment? If you're turning it in for an assignment, we're going to save the image and then we're going to put it up into Artsonia. Either way, you're going to want to save the image. Even if you want to use it for another piece, you could take this image and put them in a funny background as well. I find the drawing on top of images can be quite fun. So I finish up the shirt here, and then I actually work on the dog's eyes a little bit, just trying to highlight some of that reflection that you see in his eye. It's very subtle, but it's there. Okay, so we're going to save this as a photo. I go up to that top, the 3 dots, and then the top arrow that means upload, and then save image. All right, there's our Tayasui layered collage and drawing image.